Happy Tuesday, Prime Sports World. Welcome back into another edition. Man, the NFL draft is only 2 days away, and we're going to be ripening up our coverage here at Prime Sports World. With today, doing our NFL mock draft simulator provided by our friends over there at Pro Football Focus. What they've done is they've created a website where you can basically simulate the entire first round. And what we're going to do is we're going to stop every 4 picks, kind of break down what we think about the computer selections at each selection. They kind of go through at least the first round of this year's draft. If you're looking for consistent content on Facebook, Prime Sports World, pretty good place to hang out. We go live 5 or 6 times a week, including us going live for the entire first round of the NFL draft on Thursday, from the first pick to the last pick in the very first round, staying with all the madness. I've, of course, been your host, David On Point. Right there is our analyst, TJ Hopkins. And also want to thank our friends over there at Rouge Bear for sponsoring us here at Prime Sports World. Let your presence be felt. Drop the link to their website and our Facebook page, along with the NFL Supreme Facebook page as well. Happy Tuesday, TJ. Happy draft week, my friend. Are you excited? I'm pretty damn excited about this NFL draft. Let me tell you. I think it's going to be one of the good ones.
Yeah, I think so. I was on Facebook. So I'm like, I've been so caught up with the playoffs that I almost forgot that. Yeah, I'm like, damn, it is draft week.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
this is literally like I this is like one of the hardest drafts to pick, like where players are going to end up. I literally have no idea. Like the
yeah,
first round, the first overall pick has changed several times since we started talking about this. Like I think I think when we see our mock draft tomorrow, the mock draft show we're gonna do tomorrow, I have a new first overall pick 2 days from the draft.
yeah. And
So
I've
I
seen
guess we'll see how
something.
it all ends up playing out.
Don't forget, like Ty McShay. I think he's changed his number one overall pick because for a while it was Ace Hutchinson. Now he's saying Trayvon Walker is the number one
I
overall
have
pick.
Trayvon Walker. I'm working on a mock draft right now. I put Trayvon Walker as the first overall pick. I think where there's smoke, there is fire.
That's
Yeah,
fire.
yeah. I think
And
I wouldn't personally make that pick because I think he has bust potential written all over him. But the guy has all the like free throw letters. He has a bunch of
well,
intangibles. So I mean, if he ends
I
up panning out
think
in the National Football League, he's probably gonna be pretty.
I
His upside is extremely high.
I just wish that everybody would realize that every first round pick has what they call bust potential, right? Like
True. But there are
there,
certainly some picks that are quote unquote safer than others, without a doubt.
and we've seen. Uh, I've saw reports where like teams that have multiple first round picks, like the Jets, the Eagles have two. Like yeah, the Eagles have two, right? Two first round
Correct.
picks.
They had
Yeah,
3 at one point, but they traded one
they had three and
pick
they
next
traded one away.
year.
And but I still the Chiefs. Like I've seen teams like that say that their reports saying that they were considering moving back because apparently first round picks are valuable, but they're more valuable to others than the other
I
teams. Like
also think
I
the interesting dynamic is I think picks next year are going to be more valuable. At least first round picks or next year are going to be more valuable than first round picks in this draft. We've already seen that come to fruition with the Philadelphia Eagles, where they traded away one of their first round picks in this year's draft to get additional picks next year. And I think that may be a trend we see during the draft. We will see. So real quick about the website. So I have changed a little bit of the default settings. I have turned randomness up just a tad. Because
okay.
I just love a little randomness in my life, especially when it comes to my NFL draft. And as TJ was talking about it yesterday, we just love a little chaos as the Utah Jazz got bounced by 30 last night. And
Like,
not looking good
who
for the
doesn't
Utah
like
Jazz and
chaos?
their future endeavors when it comes to that
No,
roster remaining intact past the season.
who doesn't
But
like
that's a
chaos?
crossover conversation. That's the conversation for Saturday. Let's do the mock draft simulator. I'm going to stop it after every 4 picks. Then we can analyze what we think about the 4 picks before. So let's get started. You ready?
Hmm.
Let's get going.
So
Jacksonville Jaguars on the clock.
Jacksonville on clock.
Yeah. So start.
Start start the draft. Place it.
All right. So we got Trayvon Walker, number 1 pick out of Georgia, going to the Jacksonville Jaguars. We got Aiden Hutchinson going to the Detroit Lions at number 2. We got Kayvon Thibodeau, edge rusher out of Oregon, going to the Houston Texans out of 3. Then we got Ahmad Sauce Gardner, corner out of Cincinnati, going at pick number 4. What do we think about those first 4 picks? How would you grade this mock draft simulator as we've done the first 4 picks?
Uh, I'm like the whole smoke there is factor. I just want to know where the Trayvon Walker talk at number 1 is coming from. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong.
Well,
I'm
his
just saying
combine pretty substantial. But
we
he was a part-time player for Georgia last year. I'm with you. I don't get it. I think sure his combine numbers were really impressive, but you know who else's numbers were really impressive? Kayvon Thibodeau. Kayvon Thibodeau also has like the same intangibles that you kind of have in a Trayvon Walker. I don't get it.
So yeah, Aiden Hutchinson being the number 1 overall pick was that's been pretty universal for quite a while now, and I don't see why it should change. I don't
I think the
like
Detroit Lions are running up to the board once they see that if Trayvon Walker is
right.
one overall pick and Aiden Hudson's
Is
still there, they get the Detroit
right.
kid
Is
who gets to
that
stay in Detroit. I mean, that's just a match made in heaven right there.
right? And that's if they want to do that. Like I always say, like there's a different kind of pressure playing where you either grew up or went to college at. Right? Like Aiden Hutchinson, he went to Michigan. He was a star at Michigan, and he's gonna play for the Detroit Lions. Like that's a different kind of pressure. That's a hometown kind of pressure,
Yeah,
right? It's
but
kind of
I think I think Aiden Hutchinson though. I think you look at his skill set, like going to be good. Like it all depends on how good you think he's going to be. Like I have no questions if he's going to be at least a quality NFL player for like a 14, 15-year season. Give you 10 sacks a season. Is it going to be like JJ Watt good? I mean, I think the verdict's still out. Obviously.
all right. Yeah, obviously. Uh, Kayvon Thibodeau at 3, I have no issue with that. Sauce Gardner at 4 is that's one of the first round picks that's also been universal. A lot of people don't have Sauce Gardner going past 4 to the Jets, so I have no issue with that.
I have seen stuff where Derek Stingley Jr. has really flown up draft. So it could be possible that Derek Stingley Jr. is the first corner pick in this draft, and he could go in that same spot because I think the Jets recognize they need secondary help, and I think that's one of the places they're going to try to here, either at this pick or at 10.
That's if they don't trade him.
Yeah, if they don't try to get Deebo Samuel or anything like that, I guess we'll see. I actually think that the first 4 picks in this particular simulator is actually pretty solid. Outside of the Trayvon Walker in the first round, I don't agree with that decision at all. I do not think he's the best player. I just don't.
I don't either. I'm not saying he's not a good player, but move on.
Let's go jump into the next. Let's go through 5 through 8 as we resume this. Giants, Eric Stingley Jr., Giuquanu, Williams, Evan Neal. Man, whew. So Chris, I wish Chris Simpson was in this right now. I cannot believe the way that just played out. So number 5 is Derek Stingley Jr., the corner at LSU. The Giants have a lot of needs, but I'm not necessarily sure that corner is the need that they should address. Pick number 5. Then the Carolina Panthers followed up by taking Giuquanu, tackle out of North Carolina State. This is a major need for the Carolina Panthers. And then the New York Giants are back on the clock, and they take Jameson Williams, the wide receiver out of Alabama, which is a real head scratcher. Like I don't understand that at all.
Well,
and then the Atlanta Falcons are thanking their lucky stars that arguably the best player in this draft just falls into their lap at 8, and they get Evan Neal to tackle at Alabama. This James Williams pick makes 0 sense whatsoever. Like does the simulator understand that the Giants have a million wide receivers on their roster already? They don't need another injury, like an injury who's not even going to play next season. While everybody Danny Jones tried to salvage his career.
Well, they're shopping Kadarius Toney for
and
the
and and Darius Slayton. Kadarius Toney actually reported to camp today, so I think that may have calmed down Darius Toney trade stuff.
no, it doesn't mean that doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't. They
That's
can
true.
still trade him.
That's true. I don't think
um,
they will. There's no way. I would be shocked. I mean, I have been shocked before. Think teams do if you just give up on a first round pick one season after you drafted him. A guy who was semi productive last year. Healthy.
no, he wasn't.
Yeah, he was. He had that one really good game against Dallas. I mean,
That was one game out of
he had over.
17.
I think he had 600 yards receiving last
No,
year, which isn't great, but he missed 7 games last year. I
like
would be shocked if they just traded
no,
him
no,
away.
you wouldn't. No, you
Yeah, they would.
wouldn't.
Yeah, I would be. I would be pretty shocked. I think Darius Slayton makes more sense to be traded,
He
or
had
Sterling,
420. He had 420 yards last year.
or
No
Sterling,
touchdown.
or Sterling Shepard gets traded. I think that makes a lot more sense than Darius Toney. But to draft Jameson Williams at the top 10 when you have a Giants team that has no offensive line whatsoever, and these edge rushers and linebackers, when you have Evan Neal, Ike Ekwonu on the board there, you just straight up like, hey, we're not going to address our wide receiver situation. The hell with it. We'll get our offensive lineman situation. We'll just get a corner who has some question marks, and not to mention a position kind of a strength for the Giants right now, depending on what they do with James Bradbury. I'm assuming that he gets traded during this draft at some point, and then take James Williams, wide receiver, when that's not at all a position of need. Like, you don't address your offensive line at all with the first 2 picks in your draft. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Well, this is why this is a simulator and not the real thing. But the whole like them drafting Jameson Williams at 7 is not as far fetched as you're making it out to be.
Okay.
Like they have a bunch of receivers. Are any of those receivers worth it down? Kenny Galladay was beat up. He was beat up. Slayton's been in and out. Like I said, Kadarius Toney had
Sterling Shepard's been in and out too.
same thing with Sterling Shepard. Kadarius Toney had 420 yards receiving in 10 games. Where is the somewhat productivity that you're talking about?
Well, I
He
mean,
had
he had
absolutely
one really
none.
good game in Dallas. We had
One
11
good
catches for like.
one game out of 10. One game out of 10. That's 10%,
That's
if that. Come on, man. So they are willing to take a flyer on a guy who's gonna be ready in a
I
year.
mean, if they're gonna do this, they might as well trade that pick to get people.
I mean, who's to say they're not gonna? I mean, San Francisco's not gonna trade him, so I'm not even gonna waste my breath.
I
They
mean, if he, yeah, I don't think so either. But I mean, if you're gonna take a wide receiver at 8, you might as well just trade for Deebo Samuel. Like,
not wrong.
like,
And yeah, Evan
like if you're gonna take a swing at a wide receiver, you might as well get somebody who's already established.
and Evan
But
Neal is Evan. What the hell was that? I'm sorry, I got some on. And Evan Neal, yeah, Atlanta's taking their lucky stars that Evan Neal just falls to them at
I mean,
eight.
the same thing with the Carolina Panthers. I mean, Ike Ekwonu is the best run defender, run blocker in this draft, and you have a team that has Chris McCaffrey on it. Yeah, that's
And this is a team that was what you call it? They struggled to run the ball even when McCaffrey was kind of there. It was still a struggle to run the ball.
so. I mean, yeah, I think those 2 picks are slam dunk. I don't really understand the others. That's just my straight up opinion. They don't make any sense on any level. If you could, if we got people listening, if you could find a reason why the Giants would make these decisions with their first 2 picks,
I just said
explain it.
why they would. I said why it would make sense to take Jameson Williams.
What,
I literally
Stingley?
just said it.
What about Stingley?
I mean, if they trade James Bradbury, that doesn't make sense to me. I
Well,
like the
he's
James.
he's expensive, and I guess he's not being the best made ever. I'm gonna send this to Christian. What his reaction?
The Jameson Williams pick makes more sense to me than the Stingley pick. That's for sure.
I completely. But I mean, that's why this is fun, and that's why people talk about this stuff forever. Like it just, I honestly think that the James, I don't think either makes any sense whatsoever. I think they're both swings and misses, like really bad. And people would get fired for making like they're just not, they're not sound football decisions. You have a team that needs offensive line help, so what do? You draft a wide receiver in a corner. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. The other two picks I really like.
Yeah, those are safe picks.
Slam dunks.
Yeah,
Let's see what the rest of this happens. How the rest of this pays out. Hopefully, we get to continue to have more interesting results like this. Moving on to the Seattle Seahawks on the clock. So we have the Seattle Seahawks taking Charles Cross, defensive tackle out of Mississippi State.
makes sense.
The Jets take Garrett Wilson, wide receiver out of Ohio
Makes
State.
sense.
The Washington Commanders take Devin Lloyd, linebacker out of Utah, and the Minnesota Vikings take the corner Trent McDuffie out of Washington. Um, I personally don't hate any of these.
No,
I'm not crazy about the Devin Lloyd pick. I think it's a little bit high for a linebacker who is like Roquan Smith. But Devin Lloyd, his film is insane. There are some rumors that he may have picked up an injury between the combine and now that is going to potentially limit him. But I'm not worried about it. Devin Lloyd is going to be a good football player. I just think Levin is a little rich for him. I would, if I was the Commanders, I'd even consider trading back. But if Devin Lloyd's the guy I want,
well, I'm not gonna do that because, again, if that's your guy, don't fuck
true.
around, don't waste time, get your guy
As people like to
because
say, constantly. And I mean, they're
yeah,
looking at other needs. I don't think the quarterback you should take here at 8 because you got Carson Wentz, guard and center. I think you can wait on those positions. Linebacker makes sense. I love Garrett Wilson in the Jets. It's just a pick that makes sense. He's arguably the best receiver in this draft. I think the best healthy receiver in this draft. The Jets have wanted to address wide receiver with Tyreek Hill trade. They did end up doing it during the draft. Charles Cross makes all the sense in the world for the Seattle Seahawks. They need tackle help, especially if they don't bring back Dwayne Brown,
mhm.
which doesn't appear that's going to be the case. Not to mention he's aging as it is. So
Well,
they bring in Charles Cross. He's a mammoth human being. Should be
the
good to go right
Seahawks
away.
have the Seahawks have needed offensive line help for
Ever?
quite a while now. Yeah, quite a while now. And their neglectfulness to address it is literally one of the reasons why Russell Wilson is no longer there. And that's just sad. Like Trent McDuffie to the Vikings, also don't hate that. Like the secondary has also been an issue with them.
Yeah, but I,
I would prefer if they go edge.
I would
If
also with Jermaine Johnson still on the board here, with even Jordan Davis on the board here, which is interior isn't a major, but if Trent McDuffie, it's a reach. For Trent McDuffie, my honest opinion. I think he's a good corner. He's clearly the third best corner in this draft. Um, but I mean, the other point is like if you want Trent McDuffie, you have to kind of take him where he is now because what Minnesota's next pick, he's not going to be on the board. Like you're going to
no,
get
he's
stuck
not.
with a lesser corner. Like you're going to get stuck with an Andrew Jr. or you're going to get stuck with the other kid from
Kyer
Washington.
Elam.
Yeah, Kyrie Elam. I don't think he'll be there. Kyrie Elam.
I
But
mean,
I think with Jermaine Johnson still on the board here, I mean, I would rather address edge because I don't think you're reaching as much taking an edge at this point as opposed to how much reading taking Trent McDuffie.
but Garrett Wilson to the Jets, love it.
Yep.
Absolutely love it. You can slide Elijah Moore right back to his natural position as a slot. So you're trying out Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson. Love it.
And then you got Braxton Berrios giving you
And
change
you
of pace
got
guy.
Braxton Berrios. Love it.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think for as a roster construction, you come out of this with your first two picks. You come out of here with Ahmad Sauce Gardner. You dress the secondary, and you come out of here with arguably the best wide receiver in the draft. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good haul for the New York Jets in the first 10 picks.
Love it.
Charles Cross, love it. Devin Lloyd, I don't hate it, but I don't love it either. Same thing with Trent McDuffie. I just think that's it's an okay pick. Let's see what we get down. We got the Houston Texans on the clock, whose need is everything. Their first pick, they took Kayvon Thibodeau. So let's see what they do with 13 as we resume this mock draft.
Jordan Davis. Ooh. Drake London.
So now with the last 4 picks, we got Kyle Hamilton falling all the way to pick number 13, going to the Houston Texans, safety out of Notre Dame. Chris Olave, wide receiver out of Ohio State. Jordan Davis, the defensive tackle out of Georgia, goes to the Philadelphia Eagles. And then Drake London, the wide receiver out of USC, goes to the New Orleans Saints. Kyle Hamilton to the Saints, I think it's a steal at 13. If you watch the Big Board episode that we did a couple weeks ago, I had Kyle Hamilton as the best player in this draft, in my opinion.
I had Kyle Hamilton going 2 overall.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to sit here and say it. There's no way in hell Kyle Hamilton falls all the way to 13. Absolutely no way in hell. He falls all the way.
Well, I think there is some chatter because people were comparing him to Derwin James. And sure, Derwin James, the comparison for Kyle Hamilton to Derwin James, it's not great because Derwin James tested better in the combine. Kyle Hamilton is a bigger safety, he's a bigger player. He was obviously going to not be quite as fast, but Kyle Hamilton still had a great and people want to complain about his 40 time. Kyle Hamilton, when you watch Kyle Hamilton on the football field, he doesn't move like somebody who's a slow football player. Like his 40 time doesn't reflect how good he actually
is. If we base things off 40 time, John Ross would be the best player ever.
Yeah, I mean all of those wide receivers busted. Just Darius Hayward-Bay, all those guys that away at the top.
I'm literally just
great pick for Houston. It addresses your safety help. You need it anyways. Come out of this draft with Kyle Hamilton and Kayvon Thibodeau, arguably one of the top 5 players at their position. Even every Kyle Hamilton and Kayvon Thibodeau, top 5 players in the draft. You come up with 2 of them, that's a slam.
Yeah, it's a win. It's definitely a win. Chris Olave there at 14 for the Ravens. Love that. Jordan Davis to the Eagles. Don't have an issue with that. Drake London to the Saints. That would be huge.
Well, so he didn't run at his pro day.
So what?
I'm just
all I need to know is that is in 8 games, the guy had 1,000 yards.
Yeah, I mean he had a 1,000 yards. Yeah,
and 11 touchdowns or something crazy like that in 8 games.
His numbers his first 8 games insane.
That's all I need to know, right? And you can knock the Pac-12 for all you want about the defenses in the Pac-12. You literally made a quarterback in Baker Mayfield the number 1 overall pick, and he faced lesser defenses in the Big 12. So you cannot you can't hold that against him. He went you can't do that. Drake London to the Saints. That's a need that's a need that they absolutely must fill.
And Drake London would be a steal. Like he's probably the best wide receiver. Like if he hadn't gotten hurt, I mean, who knows what his numbers look like at this point? Like we're talking about him right now. I mean, 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns in 8 games. Like that's absurd productivity. 88 catches, 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns in 8 games. Like that's those numbers are absurd, like ridiculously absurd.
But it's like, he played against the Pac-12. Okay, and you still got to produce.
The Pac-12 has Washington. They're like arguably DBU.
And again, like I will never understand the people who try to use level of competition against a certain player. You still got to produce.
Yeah.
What good is subpar competition if you don't produce? You still got to play. But
I agree. I think all 4 of these picks are home runs. Kyle Hamilton, Chris Olave, Jordan Davis, Drake London. All 4 of these guys going where they went. I think they're all home runs. Like Baltimore's getting the steal, and Chris Olave. It might be a slight reach for Chris Olave, but he's still going to be a good player. And just the way the board worked out, wide receivers were early in this particular simulator.
Yeah,
So
that's
if you wanted a
also.
wide receiver and they needed a wide receiver, they had to get the guy they
Excuse me.
wanted now.
That's also why it's kind of strange to me. Well, not strange, but if Drake London's there at 15, for the Eagles to not make that pick, if
Yeah,
you
that
believe
is.
that,
He'd be a perfect
if
compliment
you,
to Hollywood Brown.
well, I'm talking like to the Eagles. I
No,
said to the
to
Eagles.
the Ravens.
I'm saying Drake London to the Eagles. If Drake London to the Eagles is there at 15, like if Drake London's
Again,
there at 15, like if Jalen Hurts is your guy, if you believe that much in Jalen Hurts and you don't take a weapon to help him out right at 15, right when a guy like Drake London's there for the taking, I'm questioning everything still. Like you've had opportunity,
I agree with you.
you've had opportunity after opportunity to knock it out of the park with a receiver, right? Again, you could have took Justin Jefferson. You took what's his name? JJ Arcega-Whiteside.
Jalen Rager.
Jalen Rager. My bad. Yeah, you could have had DK Metcalf. You took JJ Arcega-Whiteside. Like you're 0 for 2. Literally, you're 0 for 2.
Maybe that's why they don't want to draft him. Just gonna.
And Devontae Smith is fine, but he's one dude.
Yeah,
And
they need people that aren't like quarter cornerbacks playing wide receiver.
Exactly.
Greg Ward's a fine player, but they need some more bodies. Let's see what happens with the next 4 picks. We got the Los Angeles Chargers on the clock. Their needs are wide receiver, tackle, corner. Oh, come on.
Kobe Dean, Jermaine Johnson, Malik Willis. Oh. All right, now it's interesting. The first quarterback's off the board.
The first quarterback is off the board. So pick number 17, they got the Chargers taking to Kobe Dean. So the rumors are that they're not at all impressed with Kenneth Murray through his first 2 seasons in the National Football League. This is a straight up reach. So I don't like this pick at all. I think you could have addressed your offensive line. I think that would be an F pick. I don't like it at all. I think it's a terrible pick by the simulator here. I'm sorry, PFF simulator. That is it doesn't make any sense. The Jermaine Johnson pick, Jermaine Johnson second, steal. They need another edge rusher. They need to put pressure on the quarterback. It's interesting that the Eagles are going to leave this first round without drafting a wide receiver to help their offense. But Jermaine Johnson second, getting him at 18.
No, it's not. It's on course. It's on course with what the Eagles do. It's not interesting at all. It's literally on course with what they do. This is what the Eagles do, and they wonder why, Jalen Hurts is struggling. They wonder why Carson Wentz was struggling towards the end of his tenure there. Like you said, he was throwing to Greg Ward Jr., who's turned himself into a fine player. But Greg Ward was a quarterback for most of his football career until he got to the NFL.
Yeah,
he had to switch. Like that is not the recipe for success. All right, like make it make sense. Malik Willis to the Saints tells me that he's gonna sit for a year. He's gonna sit.
Yeah, I mean he's not at all ready to play in the National Football League. Like just not.
Like he's gonna sit for a year. So you go in with the notion that, hey, Jameis, thank you for your service. It's been great. But after this year, we're moving on. So teach the kid all you can, why you can. Woo. George Karlaftis to 20. That's a steal. That is a steal. Why?
This is kind of his.
No, this is a steal.
But it doesn't really address the needs of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like they needed to. Like Trevor Penning is still on the board here. Like they could have absolutely taken him at 20 and addressed their offensive line and given Mitch Trubisky a real chance. Instead, they take George Karlaftis, is a good player and can make a difference on their defensive side of the football as the edge on the other side of the spot. But
okay, if you get a chance, look at this John Morant poster that just happened. It is disgusting. I'm sorry that I'm distracted by that. But to me, George Karlaftis is a guy who has he has top 15 talent, and you're getting them at 20. To me, that's a steal. And I agree with the fact that you got to address your offensive line. You got to give Trubisky a chance because you need that, right? You got to help Najee Harris out. He can't be dancing for spot. He can't be dancing in the backfield, making 3-4 people miss just to get back to the line of scrimmage so the play doesn't have a negative loss. But to strengthen a strength, if you will, and to get some attention off of T.J. Watt with George Karlaftis on the other side, I don't hate that.
I mean, I don't necessarily hate it. I just think that there are other things they could have done.
And I
Pro
also
Football
think this
Focus
is
has George Karlaftis as their 10th rated player. He's 6'2",
so
266. Like
10th rated, so that's so he's top 10, and you're getting them 10 pick later.
yeah, I mean they have Trayvon
that.
Walker as the 12th rated player in the draft. He went number 1 overall. So.
And I also think I think this is another year where offensive line this is a deep offensive line draft. The Pittsburgh Steelers, I don't know when they pick again in the second round, and I'm just saying if they go George Karlaftis here, I wouldn't hate it. If they go offensive line here, I would. Obviously, you're not going to hate that. You just hope either way. You just hope both picks work out, whoever you choose.
I agree with you on that. And yeah, I still think the Jermaine Johnson second pick going to the Philadelphia Eagles where they got him is a steal because the guy has top 10 buzz. I think actually in one of my mock drafts semi recently, I had him at like 7 to the. So of these 4 picks, like the Kobe Dean one, I think is terrible. It doesn't make any sense at all. Jermaine Johnson second, I think is fine. I'm okay with taking Blake Willis here at 19. Have him sit for 1 season, but doesn't really help you guys next season when it comes to what you guys are going to do at tackle. Because Trevor Penning is still here at the 19 too. I mean, this is a team that needs to address their offensive line. And oof, yeah.
Okay. I mean, don't hate it.
Yeah. So well, I mean, George Karlaftis is fine. Well, let's move on to the New England Patriots on the clock. Wide receiver, edge, linebacker, and corner. Oh my, oh my God. All right. Tyler Linderbaum, the center out of Iowa, goes to the New England Patriots with the 21st overall pick. Devontae Wyatt, the defensive lineman, he can play a little bit edge. Goes to the Green Bay Packers at 22. Zion Johnson, guard, center out of Boston College. He can play either guard position. Goes to the Arizona Cardinals at 23. And Tyler Smith, the tackle out of Tulsa, goes to the Dallas Cowboys. Okay. Thoughts?
Zion Johnson, that's a safe pick. Me personally, I would have went corner. Tyler Smith.
Well, I think the thing about corner, if you're going to reach for like Tyler Elam, he's kind of the next corner on the board per se. I mean, Andrew Booth, I guess that conversation as well, but Zion Johnson could be really a good.
He could be Tyler Smith. I get it. That's a safe pick.
That's when you have Trevor Penning.
Well, obviously, people feel some type of way about this kid. Either way is, I feel like no one's gonna be happy with if they go Trevor Penning, if they go Tyler Smith. I feel like Cowboy fans aren't gonna be happy with that because that's just the type of fan they are. They want a splash. They want that's what they want. They want a CD. They want the CD Lamb, right? They want that.
Tyler Smith is so like he's not even ready to really play in the National Football. Like his technique and his mechanics, like he's got the size to play tackle in the National Football, but he led football, all of college football in holding balls last season.
Give me hey, so here the Cowboys. What are your other options?
I mean, Trevor Penning, the kid from Central Michigan, still
No,
on
it's
the
like
board.
what you got. What you got right now? Like, what are your other options? Because
I'm not
either
sure
way
who's
you
the right
go,
tackle. They have
like either
Carlos.
exactly. Either way you go, you're throwing a rookie in there.
True.
So
I just
what?
this Tyler. It's I just don't with the way this board is all shaped out. I don't think you needed to reach for Tyler. I think you could have taken a Trevor Penning. I think you could have taken uh, the Kenyon Green, the kid from Texas A&M, who's
Go,
a.
oh yeah, go ahead. I was taking my
I
time.
just don't. I don't like it. I straight up don't like it. Tyler Linderbaum, the center going to the Patriots. He can play a little bit of guard at the National Police Business. They just traded Jack Stack it away for literally nothing. Don't hate it. Devontae Wyatt going to the Green Bay Packers. I don't love it, but I guess I mean it is what it is.
That's
The
them.
Tyler Smith
That's
thing,
them
it makes zero
replacing.
sense. Makes no
That's
sense at
them
all.
replacing the Darius Smith.
Yeah, but
That's
he's
what
not an
that
edge.
is.
Devontae Wyatt
But you just, but
Devontae Wyatt is going to play interior.
you just said you just said he could play edge.
Yeah, he can, but I don't think that's his clear strength. Like if you're going to draft somebody this early, you probably want to put him where he's successful. Like the dude's 6'3", 304 pounds. Like
Six
he's
three
a
two
defensive
what?
tackle.
6'3" what?
304, 6'3".
Oh, 304. Oh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Maybe they get him to drop 40 pounds in camp. I don't know.
You're
Not like
gonna draft the guy and immediately put him on a diet. I really love that.
it's not like it's impossible.
No, I true.
25 Buffalo.
I don't know. Let's move on because this Tyler Smith thing. I don't. Buffalo's down the clock. Moves wide receiver defensive line. Kyrie Elam.
Okay. Andrew Booth. Okay. Jackson Hill. Oh, okay. Kenyon Green. All right.
All right. So next 4 picks, we got Kyrie Elam, the cornerback out of Florida. Tennessee going to Buffalo. Tennessee takes Andrew Booth Jr., corner out of Clemson. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers take Jackson Hill, cornerback out of Michigan. I think he was a safety in college, and they're converting him to corner. And then the Green Bay Packers take Kenyon Green, the guard out of Texas A&M. I personally love Green Bay Packers pick here. Kenyon Green is one of the most versatile offensive linemen in the country. He can play basically anywhere on the offense, pretty much.
I also think he comes in and plays immediately. They lost who they lose this on? They lost Lucas Patrick.
Billy Turner, I think.
And they lost a couple O linemen this year.
I mean, they never replaced Corey Linsley either.
They haven't. So yeah, I don't hate that pick for them. Daxton Hill to the Buccaneers. I love that pick. Have no issue with that pick whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm actually okay with all 4 of these. I mean, Buffalo Bills have a major need now that Levi Wallace is out the door. Corner, Kyrie Elam is the best one on the board. Tennessee has needed a wide receiver corner since they basically released all of their corners a couple years ago. And the kid they drafted out of Vatech has not really panned out. So they need to keep taking swings at this quarterback position and addressing wide receiver.
Well, you got to keep in mind, Caleb Fairley's coming off a back issue, right?
Yeah, and he tore his ACL, too.
So that, come on, like, give him.
I'm just letting you know.
More.
He hasn't panned out so far.
Things
could change. Things could change.
Can players get more than a year?
I mean, he blew his knee out his first season. It's not a good start.
That is my issue with a lot of people. Like, and y'all do it. Like, I don't know if y'all do it intentionally or unintentionally. If a guy has a bad rookie year, oh, it hasn't worked out. Like, damn, can I get more than a year? Am I not owed more than a year?
You're right. Right.
Come on, man.
I apologize, Caleb Fairley. You get more than you. I'm sure you're gonna be. You're gonna be a Pro Bowl.
I'm at least owed that. Like, there's a reason like rookie contracts are 4 years and not 1.
5.
Whatever.
At least first round.
Well, I'm giving 4 because usually the 5th year is an option. You for sure get 4 guaranteed.
I agree with you. I mean, actually, you could waive your third every year after the third season. I think it's a plate option. think the fourth and the fifth season are both options. Both options. But yeah, I mean Andrew Booth Jr. I mean you needed to boost your secondary anyways, because they didn't have any corners last year before the draft. So now Andrew Booth Jr. could be a really good player. He's got all the build, he's got the intangibles. He's gonna have to put on mass, which is basically every player that comes from the college to the National Football League. You're gonna have to put on
Absolutely.
weight. But
Like you either got to put on weight or you got to drop a few. Like there's no in between.
yeah. But I think these were four picks. I don't necessarily love Texas Hill to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think they have. I know that Tom Brady just took a pay cut, so they could potentially still get Tom Sue back or even JPP if he wants to continue to play in the National Football League. But corner isn't their most glaring.
Well, I think he's a guy that could also play some kind of safety.
He played safety in college. I think for some reason they're converting him.
And I also think like this is a depth move
I don't
because
really understand that.
this is definitely a depth move because we saw how shredded their secondary was when they just had injury after injury, and they got pretty thin out there. Like anytime you had to, no disrespect to him, but anytime you got to dust off Richard Sherman to come try and play immediately, right? Like Richard Sherman practiced for like a week, and then he played in the next game. Like,
and then he got hurt immediately and became one of their coaches.
Right, and then he got hurt right away. So like, yeah, you need DB depth like no other. So I don't hate that pick by Tampa.
I don't hate it. I think there are other directions they could have gone. But I mean, if Jackson Hill's your guy and he's not going to be there when they pick again. So take him when he's there. Let's move on to the last four picks of this draft, the mock draft simulator. We've only had one quarterback coming off the board so far, so we'll see how this ends up playing out. Pick number 929 is the Kansas City Chiefs on the clock, so we'll see. Trevor Penning.
Yeah, they go O-line. David.
All right, so here's how the last four picks of the draft went down. Kansas City took Trevor Penning, and then they took Bernard Raymond. Back-to-back picks addressing the tackle position. The Cincinnati Bengals take the Michigan edge rusher David Ojabo, and the Detroit Lions took Kenny Pickett, cornerback out of Pitt. I would be frank with you. Outside of the David Ojabo pick, I don't think anything makes any sense.
Yeah. I'm not expecting Kansas City to stay 29 to 30. I'm not expecting them to go through with the back-to-back picks. I'm expecting them to move one of those. I'm not I don't get why people are just so quick to say Jared Goff is like.
I mean, Jared Goff's not even 30. I don't think.
Go ahead. So, like, if I'm Jared Goff, you know what I'm telling them? Do it. Go ahead. Y'all want to move off of me so bad? Do it. Let's see how better. Let's see how much better life gets. Go ahead.
I'm telling you, dude. Those two Kansas City picks, literally no sense whatsoever. I literally did not get taking two tackles back to back.
Well,
when you have Orlando Brown,
okay,
Jr., and you have the other dude that they took a couple years ago that they like.
Well, I'm assuming some of those, I'm assuming these two dudes can play other positions on the line.
Maybe Bernard Raymond could play a little bit of guard because he was a tight end before he became a tackle in college.
That's a hell of a transition.
Yeah, he was a tackle. He was a tight end at one point. He's also like 26.
And well, again, you had to dust off Kyle Long. You had to give Kyle Long a retirement. That didn't work.
I don't think either of these guys could play guard. I could be gone. I could be wrong, but I don't get it. Like you have a major needed wide receiver, which I mean I know they sort of addressed in free agency, but still doesn't make a lot of sense to take back-to-back tackles in the draft. I think I actually kind of like the David Ojabo pick. You get the fifth guaranteed season, so you get to control his rights a little bit longer. If he pans out great, if not, oh well.
Right, he doesn't have to play right away.
I don't understand the Kenny Pickett of all the quarterbacks, I think because if you're gonna take a quarterback here, right, you're assuming that this is gonna be the quarterback with upside. So of the guys who have upside available at 32 right now, who makes sense, you could make the argument Kenny Pickett might have the lowest upside of all of a Desmond Ritter, of Sam Howell, of a the kid from Ole Miss, his name is Matt Corral. Like
Matt Corral.
Yeah, like Kenny Pickett has the lowest upside of all four of those guys that you could take right here.
I don't get why the willingness to move off of Jared Goff is just so
I mean, it's not
prominent.
gonna be like next season where the Lions are gonna be competitive just because they have a quarterback. Like
They
no,
aren't gonna be
they're the likely rebuild.
right. They're gonna be doing this for a couple years, right? Like
Yeah,
this is gonna be a strenuous process, and you have to be patient. Again, Jared Goff's not even 30. You want to move off of him so bad, and for what? For what? Get the guy some weapons.
yeah.
32,
Jared Goff is 27.
like 32 will be a prime spot for the kid out of North Dakota State. The receiver out of North Dakota State. There are so many receivers that can go at
It's not
32.
Sky Morris. No, it's oh
Just,
Mason
if
or Christian Watkins, Christian Watson, Christian Watson,
it,
Christian Watson.
yeah, Christian Watson. Like that would be a prime spot for him. Like I don't get I don't get that. Like
I
unless you feel like Jared Goff's too good of a quarterback, he's gonna win us too many games, and we're trying to tank. We're just trying to full out tank. All right,
I don't I straight up don't
I
get
don't
that
get it.
decision. Um, just for funsies, one more, and we won't analyze every single pick. We'll just do the whole draft as a whole. We're gonna turn random. All right. Jacksonville Jaguars on the clock. They take Aiden Hutchinson.
Okay,
Mont Gardner goes to
ooh,
the Lions.
damn.
Javon Walker to the Texans. Derek Stingley to the Jets. Kayvon Thibodeau to the Giants. Evan Neal.
Evan Neal.
Charles Cross goes to the Giants. Devin Lloyd
Devin
goes to the
Lloyd
Falcons. Trent McDuffie
stays home.
Al
Kyle
Hamilton to the Jets.
10.
Iaquanu, Commanders. James Williams to the Vikings. That makes zero sense whatsoever.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Garrett Wilson to the Texans. George Karlaftis to the Baltimore Ravens. Jordan Davis, Chris Olave, Andrew Booth Jr. goes to the Chargers. Drake London to the Eagles. Devontae Wyatt to the Saints. Trevor Penning to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jermaine Johnson, Patriots. Traylon Burks goes to the Green Bay Packers. Tyler Linderbaum goes to the Cardinals. Warren Raymond to Kobe Dean. Buffalo Bills. George Pickens, 26th Titans. Tyler Smith goes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Kenyon Green. Lise Quine. Eric Laquan. I did not see a single quarterback.
I didn't either.
Like, and so we had Sky Moore. Sky Moore went to the Detroit Lions, 32. Zion Johnson, guard, goes to the Bengals. Harold Epikeet, I think is how it's pronounced, goes to the Chiefs at 30. Louis Cien, safety, goes to 29. I think that's Kenyon Green, Tyler Smith, George Pickens, Kobe Dean. Yeah, zero quarterbacks first round.
No quarterbacks taken.
This first mock draft. I think Amon Gardner is pretty interesting at 2. I think if you're a Giants fan, probably a lot happier about this shakeup than the way it shook out for you the first time. You get Kayvon Thibodeau and you get Charles Cross. It's shocking to me that Ike Ekwonu fell all the way to 11. If you're the Jets, you got to feel pretty good about getting Derek Stingley and Kyle Hamilton within the top 10. Trent McDuffie is for sure. I don't understand that pick at all. And the Jameson Williams pick for the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, that makes no sense at all.
Makes zero sense whatsoever. I mean, unless they're gonna be moving off of what's their other Adam Thielen? Yeah, they're gonna be moving off Adam Thielen next season, and they're gonna just James Williams. getting ready. Like, doesn't make any sense at all.
which I don't see.
Yeah, I
And
don't
you're
think so
not
either.
and you're not playing Jameson Williams at the slot. It's just
And
not
Andrew Booth
happening.
Jr. makes 0 sense for the Chargers here at 17. They just signed J.C. Jackson.
Hey, Drake London to the Eagles. Like, yeah, okay, that's the Eagles getting it right, right?
I
Like
mean, they got Jordan
that
Davis and Drake London. That's a really nice haul.
yeah. Trevor Penning to the Steelers. Let's see, there you go. They got the guy. Traylon Burks to Green Bay. I feel like that's Green Bay saying we finally got Aaron Rodgers, the first round draft pick at receiver. Shut the hell up, leave us alone. We're trying. We're
Well,
doing our
Duke
job.
can really make plays when he just has the ball in his hands. I think that could pan out pretty nicely for Green Bay Packers. But yeah, I mean, I kind of like this mock draft show. I mean, we're gonna be doing our own mock draft tomorrow, mock draft 5.0, or I'm gonna debut a brand new mock draft. So don't want to miss that content. I hope you guys enjoyed this mock draft simulator show. I think this is the first year I've ever discovered this from PFF, and I'm having a good time with it. I think I've run the simulation 10 times the
Just
last time
on
we
your
ran
own.
the show. Yeah, like I just love watching, see how it plays out. Like, it's real entertaining. what,
Like, can you incorporate drafts into it too? Like, can you do
what
that?
do you mean?
Like, when you do the simulate, can you simulate draft like trade deals and whatnot?
Yeah. So you can
That's
pause it at any time. Like, if we were to do one more time, let's see. I still control the Bears,
okay.
but if I wanted to control literally every team, I'll just I'll enter the draft. I'm gonna pause this. I'm gonna pause and offer a
Oh, I
trade.
see. I see a pause and offer. Okay, you don't
So
have to do it.
I can trade with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I can select a player. I can trade any player on the roster. I can trade any of my picks. And
Wow.
so I want the first overall pick, and I'm the Chicago Bears. Let's get a round 1 pick next year. Let's give them Trevathan
Like Eddie Jackson is on the other round now.
Jackson. Eddie Jackson, first round pick next year, third round pick this year, and a fourth. This trade won't even be accepted. They're not even trying. Like, okay.
All our picks.
Oh, only a 69% chance for being accepted.
That's
So if we wanted the
crazy.
first pick from the Jacksonville Jaguars, we would have to give them Eddie Jackson. Give them six. We'd have to give them all of our picks this season, and then a first rounder in 2023 and 2024. What if they give us Trevor Lawrence? No, no.
No, yeah.
I wonder what it would take to get Trevor.
I don't know, but it would take it would have to be pretty massive. But yeah, that's all I wanted to know. That's crazy that they went all out for this.
Yeah, like they put a lot of work. I literally, they would not accept, like, if I tried to trade first round pick and Trevor Lawrence, everything we have in draft capital for the next 3 years, plus Justin Fields, they still wouldn't do it.
That's crazy.
So, and they declined it, dude. Can you believe that? Dude, can you imagine how fast this trade would get done in real life?
Yeah, in real life, oh my God, yes. In real
Like,
life, that like Jacksonville was like, hey, thank you. Thank
yeah,
you.
3 years of draft capital plus Justin Fields for Trevor Lawrence, like, this trade, yeah, we get done.
And the first overall pick, right?
Yeah.
But thank God that's not a real offer, because Bears fans were like literally abandoned ship.
Man, I'm not even sure what I would do if I was like a Bears fan and this trade actually happened. Where you trade
Bro,
3 years of draft capital.
I would find a new team so fast. Like, it was first off, I would stop watching the NFL for a year. I'd literally wait till April for the USFL just to, cleanse myself.
But yeah, we'll be back here tomorrow. We do our final mock draft. Before we're back here on Thursday, we're going to be covering the entire first round of the NFL draft. You don't want to miss that content. I've been David Humpin right there. TJ Hopkins. TJ, what do we do here at the prom, my friend?
We bring the heat.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we bring the heat. And you can continue checking us out on Facebook, YouTube, and on the Twitter at PSW_David. Thank you very much for checking us out. We'll be back here tomorrow, probably around the same time, same place. You guys all have a good rest of your evening and be safe out there. Peace out.
See you, man.